Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I haven't been on YouTube for I think quite a good few months, or even more, maybe like 3-4 months. Yeah, so this video is going to be sort of like an update slash comeback video to let you know what's been happening for this past few months, and also what's happening now in my life, you know, and what are my plans for the future, like near future. Yeah, well, first of all, I want to say that I miss you all so much. I've been trying to respond to all your comments and questions that you asked there as much as I could. So yeah, and few notes I put as well to the videos requests that you want me to film, so I'll do that as well. Hopefully now I will have a little bit more free time, so I will spend more time on YouTube. I know I always promise that, but sometimes when the study's taking over, it's very hard for me physically to actually do YouTube as well, because I have work, you know, I need to see my kids, I need to have a little bit of time for myself. I like to go out, I don't like to sit at home. So yeah, taking all of that in consideration, it's a little bit hard. But now, since I'm finishing my degree, hopefully we'll have more time. Okay, so let's just start from my last semester. Okay, so for those of you who are new on my channel, I am completing my Bachelor of Nursing Science with University of Sunshine Coast full-time. I've been on full-time on all my nursing studies for the past 3.5 years, starting from TYPE, Diploma of General Nursing, and then taking pathway to uni. So I've been always on a full-time and working at the same time. I thought that this last semester was going to be easy because I only had 2 subjects, and then internship, which is your basically 2 months or 8 weeks of full-time clinical practice to complete your degree. Okay, my University of Sunshine Coast ran it for 8 months. I know that other unis ran it for 6 months. Okay, so you can imagine like 2 months straight full-time, Monday to Friday, or sometimes a weekend, rotating from morning to afternoon shifts all the time, you know, for 2 months straight. It's really hard, really hard. And your shifts are full shifts, like 8-hour shift, you know, so like you get really busy and really tired. So I thought, okay, like internship is gonna be a tough time for me, obviously, but the other 2 subjects are gonna be easy. But I was wrong. The subjects were easy. I had child and youth subject, and I had Aboriginal, you know, subject where you need to sort of like study about Aboriginal cultures and then how you can implement it in a safe way into healthcare system, how can you look after Aboriginal people and all of that. And child and youth is more like pediatrics, when you need to learn more about kids, you know, and all of that. So those subjects were easy, quite interesting. I finished them well, you know, all good. But during this last semester, what happened as well is that Queensland portal was open for grad positions or a grad program. If you don't know about grad program, so what happens here in Australia when you finish or about to finish your degree, whether you're doing EN diploma or whether you're doing your Bachelor of Nursing Science, the easiest way, I would say, to step into the nursing career without having any experience yet as a grad student is by applying to a grad program through the Queensland government. And if you get successful, then the hospitals that you put as your preference would call you and offer you a position or a contract for 12 months. Okay, so that would be like your year experience working as a grad student. You still will be supervised, so it's quite safe, and you will be able after that to either stay at the same hospital if they have positions still running, or maybe they will offer it to you by themselves, you know, to continue. Or by having this 1 year of experience, now you can apply pretty much everywhere, because this is what hospitals will require from people who just graduate to have experience. I know it's really hard, but at the same time they want to have like safe practitioners, you know, they prefer someone with experience over a person who doesn't have any experience, because then you have to teach that person, you have to pay more attention to supervise that person and all of that, you know, and sometimes it's a little bit difficult for the facilities. On the other hand, we all need to get the experience somewhere, like, you know. So grad program is a really nice way to sort of like put your foot into this industry and get you 1 year of experience. So then after that you can apply to other areas or to other facilities as well. Other way is if you can't do it for whatever reason, maybe you were unsuccessful, maybe you missed the dates when the portal was open, because it's only open for like a month or so, a little bit more than a month. So it opened this year from 27, I remember, of July. This is when I was starting my second semester, and it closed, I think it was like 20 something of August. Okay, so it's like a month and a half. So if you missed dates or you've been unsuccessful, whatever, you can still go and apply for positions through agencies to work with aged cares. You can go directly apply through aged care, like to any aged care. You can apply in GP clinics, like COVID clinics. We have a lot of now immunizations and stuff that can take in grads, you know. Just look for those opportunities. It's not easy, not many of them though, and a lot of aged cares would still prefer someone who would have experience, because the ratio in aged care is completely different to hospitals. If you as RN would be looking, for example, in a hospital, like you would have let's say 8 patients and you would have 2 nurses looking after them, so it's like 4-4, or if you're working in a team together, that would be 8-2 nurses. If it's a private hospital, you might have as RN looking after 6-7 patients, depending. In aged care it's completely different. You will be having like 1 RN for the whole facility, and then you will have ENs in your delegations, you know. So you will be supervising your ENs, so you will be looking after the whole facility, which is a little bit difficult, you know. So, and you can imagine how high is the responsibility. So they would prefer still to take someone who has experience, because they don't want any errors. They want to be they want things to be done safely, you know, and things like that. So yeah, but you can still apply. So when I started my second semester, I needed to apply for my grad program. So I was doing pretty much a lot of paperwork. So you will need to write a lot of selective criteria. You will need to write your resume with all the experience as RN student, and they would prefer something recent, like they would want you to do last 2 placements. Okay, what you've been doing. If you want, I will make a separate video how I wrote my CV, what I've been including in there and things like that. Okay, and then they would want you to do the cover letter, you know, and of course you will need to do all the applications online through the Queensland government website. So that takes time. It took me 4 days to do my selective criteria. That included to do lots of research, working on the structure, what I want to put, how I want to put it, you know, things like that. And yeah, it was a lot of hard work. At the same time, you have your reading that you need to do for your assessments. My subject started with quizzes. I had 1 small quiz, I think it was like 20 or 30 questions. The second one was a big one, it was 60 questions, duration of 60 minutes, so it's like 1 minute per question. So you needed to do about 4 or 5 chapters reading, and each chapter would have like from 25 to 30 pages to read, to prepare for the quiz. And then at the same time I needed to do my selective criteria, I needed to do the research, I needed to do lots of applications and all of that. So like it was a lot of things falling into place at the same time, basically. So it was a lot of pressure. At the same time I needed to pick up shifts at work, because I still need to pay my bills, obviously. Yeah, so it was pretty intense. And then I had my 2 months placement, and I had my last 2 tasks fell into the time of my placement. Like I remember I was able to do task 2 for each subject before my placement started. One of them would fall still on placement dates, but I knocked it off before, because I thought, okay, if I leave 3 different assessments and written tasks, it will be really hard for me to do them during my placement, because my placement was in all facilities that I had from Monday to Friday full time, and I was rotating from morning to afternoon shifts. So I was really tired. So I thought, okay, if I leave like 3 tasks to do, I will be really tired, you know. So I knocked off all the tasks 2 after I've done the quizzes, and I left only tasks 3. So what usually happens if you are new to the nursing degree at uni, you usually would have for each subject 3 different tasks. So usually it's a quiz, then some written piece. It could be just answering questions or working upon like a certain scenario they would give you, and they would put actual questions for it that you need to answer. So it's not going to be an essay, but it's going to be a written piece. Or it's going to be a PowerPoint presentation, which is still a written piece, but you will put some pictures in there, you know, you will make it like a presentation, and you would make a voice narration. So you need to talk from 3 to 5 minutes, or sometimes to 10 minutes. And then your third task is going to be an essay. Usually, like, each subject would have an essay. Well, most of them would have an essay. Essay usually is from 2,000 to 2,000, from 2,000 words to 2,000 and a half. And they either will give you a topic or they will give you a scenario, okay, and you need to discuss certain points. So I left my tasks 3 to do during my placement. And that was really difficult. The time between them, the due dates, was a week between 2 of them. So I needed to plan my time really carefully to spend 1 week for research, because I like to take things a little bit slower. I like to work each day a little bit by a little bit. So I remember I planned 3 days for research, making my notes, making a plan, what I want to talk about in my essay, what goes after what. And then I was giving myself another few days to actually put it into writing. So it took me 2 weeks, 1 week for each subject, working either before my shift or after. If I'm afternoon shift, I would be working a few hours before I drive to the hospital. If I'm in the morning shift, I would come home at about 5:30 and start to work about until 9. So I was living on a schedule. I was living on a tight schedule, planning what I will be doing every day for that assessment, how much time I will be putting into it, you know, and all of that, because I needed still to sleep, because I needed to be fresh for my shift. And things like that. So that was really difficult. And then during my internship itself, I was getting very tired on my 2nd month. So what happened through my uni, you will have this internship divided into 2 blocks. One block is 1 month. So first month is your first block, and your 2nd month is your 2nd block, okay? I was sent to 2 different facilities for 2 different blocks. Some of the students that I know of, they were having 2 blocks, 2 months in 1 facility. Okay, but could be rotating between different wards. So my first block was in a public hospital in emergency department, which I was so excited about. I will make a separate video for you guys, what I've been doing in the emergency department as a nursing student, what areas we were working in, you know, and things like that. So I will make a separate video because I don't want to make this one too long. It was a really nice placement. So I was there from I was from Monday to Friday only, all 4 weeks, but I was doing rotations. So I had 1 week AM shifts, next would be PM shifts, and then rotating again to AM week and then PM week, okay? PMs are late, you finish at 11 o'clock, so I was coming home like about 12:30, sleeping at 1, so it was quite difficult for me. Then my 2nd block was in perioperative. It's a private hospital, and I've been there before when I used to do my EN, diploma of EN. I've been there a lot, I've been there everywhere pretty much, but this time I was only placed, I don't think, all actually all students from my uni, we were placed into perioperative. Like other unis, we had ICU, we had University of Queensland, I think, with us, and I think I've seen a few Griffiths students as well. Anyway, they were in surgicals and medicals and rehab, and my uni, we all were in perioperative area only. So perioperative of that hospital means your pre-admissions, your day surgery unit, your PACU, which is your recovery unit, and then your operating theater, which is your OT. So I had 1 week in operating theater watching different surgeries. Oh my god, that was so interesting. Like, I've seen all sorts of surgeries apart from brain and spine, because this is not something that they would specialize in, but they have like all general surgeries, a lot of orthopedics and all of that, and I love it. I think now, like, I know by heart already how it goes when the patient has a total knee replacement. Like, I know each and every step of the surgery. It's amazing. Like, I think I've watched like 8 or 10 of them, and I love it. I love it so much. And I've seen a lot of other surgeries as well. So that was perioperative area. Okay, in recovery you will have your patients when they come out from the theater. They would stay in the recovery, you know, until they be stable. When they come out from the anesthetics, you know, just making sure they are not in pain. If they are in pain, you would start a pain protocol, you know, watching their vital signs and things like that. Once your patients are stable, they either will go back again to the surgery unit if they had a day surgery, which means they will go home, they will be discharged from there. If they will go to the surgical, you will hand them over to a nurse who will come from the surgical ward and will take them there, and they will stay for whatever time they need in surgical ward. And then your day surgery unit is pretty much when you admitting patients for the surgery, prepping them for the surgery, and then if they are day stay, they will come out from the PACU to the day surgery, will be discharged from there. Your pre-admission, this is a small office room where you would see some of the patients that will have their surgeries in some week time or few days, whatever. So you would do ECGs on some of them, you would just go through their medical history, you know, you would do some checks on them and things like that, and all of this information will be put in a system and in a file, and then these people will come back again when they will have a day of the surgery. Okay, so I really like working in perioperative area. It's more like, it's a mix of clinical, acute, and also administration as well, and you will have that feel to see which area of perioperative you like the most if you want to work there in the future. Okay, and there I had shifts as well from Monday to Friday only, no weekends were involved, and I had it rotating from AMs to PMs. No night shifts at all. I didn't have any night shifts. Actually, I never have any night shifts in my degree or even in diploma of enrolled nursing. I never ever had any night shifts. I had few students who were with me on a placement. They had night shifts during their prac before, but yeah, I never had any, so I guess I'm lucky. But at the same time, it's always nice to actually try and see how the night shift goes. I don't even do night shifts at my work. It's not something that I would choose. I love PMs. I always do afternoon shifts at my work. I work in aged care. I don't do morning shifts. It's easier for my life commitment to stay on one time, either mornings or PMs. The reason why I choose PMs, my afternoons, because I had my nursing degree to do, so I would be attending either uni lectures or I would be doing Zooms, because when the COVID hit, we needed to do all the Zoom sessions online. We couldn't go to the campus. So it was easier for me to sort of like leave one timeline, because it's hard when you go from morning to PM shifts. It just hits your body hard. Yeah, so that was my alternative, I guess, like my preference. I would say just afternoon shifts. So yeah, so that's pretty much about my internship. So I finished it a week ago. I've completed all 2 months. I was so tired by the end of it. Like, I was literally just practicing on an autopilot. I was so tired. Like, at work, I never do 5 days in a row, because nursing is quite intense mentally and physically profession, and I prefer to do like 3 shifts in a row, then have at least 1 day off, and then come back again and maybe have another 1 or 2 if I want to do 5 shifts a week. If I want to do 4 shifts a week, I would do again either 3, have a break, or 2, have a break, come back for another 2. I would rarely do 4 max. like rarely, unless it's a maybe public holiday, I want to do a little bit more money and then have my time longer for break. But yeah, not every week 5 days in a row. It's very physically exhausting. So yeah, then I was for my grad program, when I was doing my placement in ED, I needed to attend Zoom meetings for the interviews, and you can imagine in how much of stress I was. So I had my med exam done online by video call. We needed to complete like a small link that they gave us, and you need to put all the answers, you know, to all the medication questions and do all the medication calculations while they're actually watching you on a camera. Then I needed to do interview online, so, sort of like face-to-face but online. So 2 people were interviewing me and they could see me, you know. It went for 30 minutes, so I needed to step off the floor, find a quiet place and do it. In the hospital where I was practicing, one of the managers, they were so nice, they gave me their room for the whole entire time of 30 minutes, and I could sit there and I could do the, you know, proceed with the interview questions and stuff. Yeah, and it was just like, I feel like when I had my 2 months of internship, everything was happening during this time, you know. And I wasn't working during this time as well, so I was living from my savings. So now I have to work a lot to bring the money back, because 2 months living on your savings, sometimes on a PM shift you would need to pay for the hospital parking, because as students we don't have like free parking or whatever you call it. Like a lot of hospitals would have paid parking these days, okay, and like Sunshine Coast University Hospital would have paid parking, Redcliffe Public would have paid parking, Royal Brisbane would have paid parking, you know. And if you're working on an afternoon shift when it's late, you don't want to park somewhere far, like on a street or in a park or whatever, for free, because it's scary, you know, to walk like 11 o'clock at night, you know, somewhere. So you would, on those shifts, you would pay for parking. Usually it's from $13 to $15. Royal Brisbane is insane with the price, like up to $30 there or something like that. So yeah, it's crazy. So you can imagine when you're living from your savings during your placement, you still need to pay for your petrol, okay? You still need to pay for your parking, you know, you still have to pay your bills, obviously, and all of that. Petrol in Queensland was insanely expensive this few months. Like, it was going up to $1.96 per litre. Like, my car is 2.5 litres engine, and I needed to fill it up 3 times a week. So basically, like, you would go from Monday to Friday to your placement, you know, so you will fill in 2 times. And then by Monday you will need to fill in 3rd time. So it was really expensive. Every time, like when the price is like that, you would pay like about like $70–80 to fill in the whole tank, you know, fully. It's crazy. So usually I'm deducting this from my tax when I do the tax return in the end of the year, because this is something that is related to my studies and to my work, okay. But at the time being, when you are living from your savings before the tax return comes and you actually receive your money back, it is very hard, you know, because you have to pay other bills, you know, you can't work and stuff like that. The uni would prefer you not to pick up any shifts on the weekends. Let's say if you're a student placed for Monday to Friday shifts during your placement every single week, full-time, they would prefer you not to pick up any shifts during weekend, because you're already on a full-time, like 39, 38, 40 hours, whatever, during the week time. And if you pick up additional shifts at your actual work on a weekend, that means you don't have adequate amount of rest, sleep, whatever your body needs. And then on Monday, when you go back again to your prac, you are tired. When you are tired, you can't think freely, you can't make proper decisions. You basically might become unsafe practitioner, and you are dealing with patients, like real people. Even if you are practicing under supervision of your body RN nurse, you still need to stay safe as much as you can and be able to notice if there's any decline in your patient's condition, especially if you're working in a surgical ward or even perioperative. If you're recovering patients from the surgery, you need to be able to pick up things quickly and act on it because it's an acute area. So they would not recommend you to pick up any shifts on a weekend. They know we need money. They know that some of the students won't, of course, listen and will pick up some shifts. But the reality is they want you to stay safe as much as you can, okay? So I was not picking up the shifts. And yeah, now I have to work a lot because I have to earn money. Okay, so I'm like planning to work through the holidays as well, basically, because they're well paid, and yeah, to save a little bit more money. So what's happening now at my life? I've been successful for a grad program, so I was so happy. I've applied with Metro North. I've picked a few hospitals near my area, and I've got my answer for being successful about 2 weeks ago. And like the anxiety was over the roof. It was 3 students practicing with me at perioperative from a uni, and we all were waiting for the results. And Queensland Health, like, they had so many candidates, so many applicants, that on the week when they needed to announce the results, they sent us email and said, give us another week, you know, because we have a high flow of applicants, so we will announce the results next week. We're like, oh my god, we just want this to be like over. We want to know whether it's yes or no. So the anxiety just like stretched for another week, and then next week, I think it was Tuesday, I've got my results, and it was a congratulation letter that I was successful. And I was like, oh my god, I'm so happy. And then the other girls got theirs as well at the same day. So I'm really happy. So what's happening now is last week I've submitted all my documents. They will need all your identity documents. They will need some forms of TB testing and also all your immunizations. So you need to go and certify it with GP, and you need to submit it all. And then they will be calling you pretty much from now till next September. Anytime they may call you and offer you a position, okay, in hospitals that you put the preference in, okay? So it can happen anytime. So it's a little bit of stress because like I want it to happen quicker, so I could know, you know, which months I will start, which hospital is it going to be, you know. My friend, one of the 3 students that I was practicing with, she got a call last week. She applied for emergency, and they've called her and they offered her position in the hospital that she was put in as a preference, and she's starting in ED next February. Okay, so next year at February. So that's good to know, because you can plan your life, you know, and you know what's gonna happen, you know, and you can kind of feel safe. Okay, that's it, I've been successful now, I've got a position, that's it. Like, so I'm waiting for myself. I don't know when it's gonna happen. They also say that while you're waiting, try your best to apply anywhere else, you know, as a grad, not through the grad program, because obviously the portal is closed because it's only open once a year. But you can apply aged cares, GP clinics, you know, unlikely to the hospitals because they need experience, but you can try like these places and just see how you go, you know. But if I apply anywhere else while I'm waiting for any hospital that I put as my preference to call me back, I can't work more than 960 hours, okay? So you have to be really careful how many shifts you pick. So what I've done now at the moment, I'm still gonna go with my aged care job. I'm gonna work there. I've applied last week for a swap for my registration, so I had my EN registration. I've surrendered that one because I won't need it after I have my RN registration, so I fill in the form for that, and I've applied at the same time for my RN registration. Okay, so I only paid $90 for that, but if you're applying from the beginning for your RN registration, you will need to pay about 270. So 170 is for Regis itself, and $90, I think it's like a joining fee or some sort of fee, I don't remember, like it's $90, so it's altogether like 270 or 280, something like that. So I needed to pay only $90. Okay, so my regio is probably going to be completed or finalized maybe by the end of December or maybe beginning of January, because my grades are going to be finalized through the uni on 9th of December or by 9th of December. And then what uni does, they send your academic transcript automatically to APRA. APRA is the body that's registering all the health practitioners, so they will send it by themselves. So what I've done from my side now, I've completed the application, I paid for my registration, so everything there is done. I've submitted all documents that they needed for me to submit. So now the only step which is left, and they know about it, is my grades. So they need to, so the uni will send my grades. Once APRA receives my grades, they will finalize my registration. So I don't know whether it's gonna happen the end of December or maybe beginning of January. Also taking in consideration that all unis now, all RN students now applying for registration, so APRA is gonna have now lots and lots of applications to process, a lot. So I don't know, maybe that will take time as well. But I mean, like, if the hospitals will call with the position proposal, they know that this is happening, they know that all of us apply now for registration, obviously, and most likely that most of us will receive it somewhere the end of December or January. So yeah, so that's my current situation. I'm waiting for my regio. Once I get it, if I won't hear from the hospitals yet, I will be trying to apply to GP clinics. I don't really want to apply to aged care facilities. I have my reasons for that, which I don't want to discuss online, but I don't really want to work in aged care. Mainly it's the safety reasons, okay, just for my safety and for the safety of my registration. I don't want to risk it. So yeah, aged care is not a field that I want to work in, okay, just for those reasons. So I will try to apply through GP clinics, you know, where the GP doctors are working. Try to do that, medical centers and stuff like that, see how I go while I'm waiting for the hospitals to contact me back. Okay, so that's my current situation basically. I've got all my marks already for my subjects as well. Also currently I need to complete 4 days to cover my hours that I've missed during my first block. So what happened when I was in emergency for 1 month, on a second week, I think, or a third week, we had those 4 cases, if you remember. We had 4 cases in Queensland of COVID, and because we were working in the emergency department as students, any patient can come in with the positive, like with the COVID symptoms, and be positive. So they said to us to step away from practice for 4 days and then come back the next week. So I have this 4 days now to redo. So my uni sent me to cardiac ward, CCU, for 4 days. So I have today 1 shift, which is my introduction day, and then I will be back again 1st, 2nd and 3rd of December to do 2 afternoon shifts and 1 morning shift, and I will be done. So this is the only 4 days that I have to complete now to finalize my degree. Okay, because this is my final hours of practice that APRA needs us to complete as a nursing student, and that would be it. So this is what's happening in my life now, guys. I'm so happy I don't have to do any more assessments. I'm really happy. Like I was literally having no life. I was living my life, work, assessments, placements. That's it. My whole life was evolving around my uni, planning each and every month how much time I can spend for leisure, like just for myself, for rest, how much time I need to spend on research and writing assessments, and then how many shifts I can pick up to fill in whatever time left, you know. So I'm so happy now that I don't have to write assessments anymore. I will be always doing research when I work as a nurse, because research is a part of being a nurse, you know, and well, very often you will need to do it, especially when you are a grad student. You're still learning, you know. So I don't mind doing research. I love doing the research because this is how you learn. But I'm happy that I don't have to write the assessments. As a grad student, you will need to still do certain assessments during your grad program, and you will have books to read and all of that, but I'm okay with that. You know, it's not as intense as when you're doing your actual nursing degree. So I'm happy about that. I'm all good. Yeah, so I will make new videos for you guys about writing selective criteria. So I'll explain to you how I was doing it, what I was putting in, what structure I used and stuff like that. I will make a separate video for you guys how I do my CV. I'm not going to give away my CV online to you guys, but I will tell you what I've been including in it, and cover letter as well. And what else I wanted to do, and I will make a separate videos to tell you what I've been doing as a nursing student in ED, and what was my responsibilities and tasks in perioperative unit, or like area I should say, because it covers a few different units, what it's like, you know, what you do there as a nursing student. So maybe it will give you a glance of the whole picture, so you could decide whether you want to work, you know, in each of this area in the future, if you as a nursing student wouldn't be placed there on your placement. Because this time ED was the first time for me. Like during the whole 3.5 years of my studies, I've never been placed in ED. I always been in surgical wards, different surgical wards, you know, but never been in ED. So that's why I was so happy to actually try emergency department. So yeah, till then, I'll see you next time, and thank you for watching this video. If you have any questions, as usual, leave them in the comment section below and I will be able to answer them. Bye.